Just functionally, the NHL is experimenting with this decentralized concept. What are your thoughts on that sort of pros and cons? Do you like being on the draft floor, quote unquote, bumping into other people, or did the logistics get too hard regarding traveling and then getting back, especially with you doing a development camp right when you get back and free agency?
No, listen, I enjoy being on the draft floor. I enjoy having everyone in one city, but listen, other sports do it like this, so I'm comfortable this way with me just starting. It's nice to have everybody here and focus and because during draft week usually you have meetings right up, so it might help, but I'm comfortable with both situation. I really enjoy the in person, I won't lie, but whatever the league decide, I'll be uh, I'll be doing my job. Go ahead.
And as much as you can tell us, how active has it been? How active have the phones been? And, you had said several times you expect to make this first pick because you're going to get a special player. But since the scouting combine, how would you characterize your decision-making process and sort of what other teams might be, trying to tempt you with?
I know I'm going to get a great special player on Friday, so I mean, phone's always busy during the draft week. There's so many things going on. Some teams are sometimes are trying to sort out their cap or sort out different things. So teams are always calling and kicking tires on different things, but that's just regular, normal draft week chatter. So, like I said before, I expect to be drafting on Friday night, and I know I'll get a very special player.
Ethan Sears, New York Post.
Hey Matthew, thanks for doing this. I'm wondering if you can clarify where things stand with Noah Dobson. Obviously, a lot just going around with that situation right now.
I'm still trying to sign all our restricted free agents. I've been talking with the agents, and it's just part of the process. It's sometimes it takes time, sometimes it happens quick, and it's been actually with all four of the RFAs. It's been a very cordial negotiation. We're just going through the process. I have, we all have our ideas of where the contract should be, and that's we're working through it.
What do you
And is potentially, you've scouted this draft extensively, obviously, is potentially trading for a second pick in round one something that you've looked into at all?
Well, I'm not trading the one, but you look at everything, right? Teams are calling you about various options, but like my job is every time you hear that, something might be going on, you call a team and my job is to do my due diligence and see what's out there. Every single day, I'm trying to improve the New York calendars. So anytime and you talk to teams and you ask them, what they're working on, what do they need, and sometimes there's a match, sometimes there's not. So I'm always gonna be calling around and doing my due diligence and to find a way to improve the team.
Steve Weiner, the Associated Press.
Morning, Matthew. Like this is obviously your first move as GM. I mean, I'm wondering how you look at this as sort of your first chance at putting a stamp on this franchise with this number one pick.
Well, I've been very lucky. Actually, I can't even take credit for it because the team won the first pick before I got named. So I can't even say it was the Darche luck. So I've been very fortunate. So anytime you have a chance to pick a player at number one, usually you get a special player, and it's the same thing this year. So I see it as I'm very fortunate. I'm going to get a great player that's going to push our organization forward and a player that hopefully plays for us for 15, 20 years if that's how long a career the player has. So I'm really excited about the player we're going to get on Friday.
Go ahead, Steve.
And just following up on what Ethan was asking, is it possible to move back into the top 10? I mean, do you have the assets to want to make a splash knowing that this could be a sort of a long-term build for yourself?
I'm looking at everything. There's if I have an opportunity that I feel will make, because it depends. Do you want to move in the top 10? What does it cost you? So if I feel the opportunity warrants that trade, I'll try it. But or if it's an opportunity to do something else to improve the team. So whether it's moving up in the draft with another pick, whether it's acquiring another pick, whether it's trading another pick to get a player, like I'm looking at all options to improve our team.
Stefan Rosler, the Hockey News.
Hey, Matthew, thanks for doing this. Just what were your first impressions of Matthew Schaefer when you spoke to him?
He's an impressive young man. I mean, we've met a lot of impressive people, but Matthew, obviously, everybody knows about his story with his mom, his billet mom, and the resilience he's shown. He's an impressive young man. That's all I can say. And I mean, you guys have seen him too through these interviews, and he's a hell of a player. He's a great person. And but having said that, there's a lot of other kids at the draft that we met that were very impressive. So that's why I say, like, regardless of who we pick on Friday, we'll get a special player that's gonna help the New York Islanders fairly quickly.
Rachel Lucier, NewYorkIslanders.com.
Wanted to ask about the new assistant coaches for you, Matthew. Just what's your excitement to work with Ray Bennett and Bob Bugner and just your relationship with them?
Well, we went through a process. I sat down with Patrick. We came up with names together. At the end of the day, I want him to be comfortable with the assistants. So I spoke with them extensively. Patrick spoke with them extensively. Patrick zeroed in on Bob and Ray, and then and like anything I do, I'll do my due diligence. I'll call around people that have worked with them, people that they've coached. I think I have a decent network around the league, so we're really excited. They're going to complement Patrick very well. Bob's going to coach the defenseman and probably run the penalty kill. And Ray Bennett has had tremendous success as a power play coach, and he's going to help Patrick on the power play, which we won't lie, those are two areas we needed to improve a lot. So we're excited that Ray and Bob, they have some good experience around the NHL. Ray's been in the NHL for 25 years, and Bob has been a head coach. He's been an assistant coach. He was an assistant coach on very strong teams in San Jose. So we're excited to have both of them on board.
Go ahead, Rachel. Rachel, you have a follow-up? Nope, good.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Russell Macias, New York Hockey Now.
Hey, Matthew, thank you for doing this. I would say, following off that, the hiring of Ryan Bonus and then just the AHL coaching hire, and just after that, how the first month has gone for you on Long Island, acclimating to everything.
Well, it's good, Ryan. I felt I want to bring Ryan, who's been around the NHL. Obviously, his father being a former coach too, but I didn't hire him for his father. I hired him because he's been around the league. He's ran pro departments, so he's going to run our player personnel department, including the pro scouting. So he's been great. I've built a relationship with him over the years. I've seen his work. He was a scout in Pittsburgh when they won cups, and then he ran the department, and at the end he was associate GM in Ottawa. So he's a good guy that's going to complement our group.
Kevin Mark, News 12.
Hey, Matthew, like you said, you're going to get a great choice no matter who it is. What is your message to that young man in terms of the culture he'll be joining, because it's a culture that you're trying to build?
Well, he's going to be part of it. He's going to be part of the new player we're going to get. He's going to be part of building that culture. So he's one of the steps. I mean, I got here. I would say we still have a strong culture in this dressing room. So we're adding a young kid that's obviously highly talented. If he goes first overall, he's a highly talented player. And we have some good veterans around here. Sometimes, we think, we only need young guys, but you need those guys to be surrounded by veterans that can help them. And we have those guys on the team. So I think it's going to be a good transition for the player to come in and not necessarily be, all right, I have to be the savior or I have to do everything. We have some strong players. So I'm really excited to whichever player we're going to draft on Friday to help us move forward.
Peter Schwartz, WFAN.
Hi, Matthew. Good morning. Thanks for doing this. A lot of times in the past, the first overall pick has gone straight to the NHL. Do you see players available, the top prospects in this draft, fit that mold? Are there players that can make the jump right to the NHL after getting drafted?
Well, possibly. And I think there is a strong possibility. By the end of the day, it's going to be the performance. We're going to see those new players at development camp right after the draft next week. And then the performance at training camp, like, you have to be open-minded. It doesn't matter who it is. Those kids are 18 years old. So if they come here and if the player comes here, shows me that, hey, he belongs in the NHL, he'll be in the NHL. If we feel that he needs more time, well, we'll give him more time. So for us, it's the player we want. We want him to be here for a long time. We want him to have an NHL career. There's no rush into getting him in the NHL. Having said that, if he shows us he's ready to be in the NHL, some players have the last few years. Well, we'll keep him here and have him play with our group. So it's again, performance will always dictate where the players are.
Last couple questions here. We'll go back to Andrew Gross, Newsday.
Yeah, Matthew, I was just curious. You spoke about some, hiring Ryan and Rocky. Where are you with Chris and Steve and, any other management decisions? And I'm assuming once you get through the draft, you'll probably have, more freedom to make some moves if you want.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed working with them. And honestly, there's so much going on right now that all this, I mean, I brought in Ryan because I felt we had a gap there in the player personnel. So that's why I brought him in right away. So right now there's a lot of things going on. I'm working with everybody that's here and we keep going like that. I've really enjoyed working with everyone that's in the building here. And I think there's a lot of strong people. So I'm excited going forward.
And does Ken Morrow, will he just be scouting now, or what kind of role do you see for Kenny?
Well, Ken has the same role. Ken was had his teams that he was scouting, and he's going to keep doing that. He's done a great job, and I've enjoyed that. I've had all the pro scouts come in a couple of weeks ago and got to meet him. So Ken's going to keep covering, keep doing what he was doing.
Back to Steve Wino, AP.
Matthew, you mentioned a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm wondering how you see free agency shaping up. I mean, there's a salary cap's going up by a lot, and there's a lot of going to be players available. Teams going to have money to spend. Like, what do you see coming in the next kind of week and a half in terms of player movement?
Well, you got to stay disciplined. That's the biggest thing. Like every time there's a big jump, you can get antsy and saying, "Well, even if I don't think that's what I want to pay for the player, but I have the cap space, whatever, I'll spend it." But then once you commit to those contracts, sometimes later on in your process, well, maybe I pay too much. And, my goal is to have a fair contract for the player. I don't want a player to feel underpaid, but I don't want to overpay for a player either. So that's where the discipline comes in. And we've seen it over time. Every time the cap goes up, then sometimes you get antsy because I really want the player. So, but you have to stay true to your process and knowing what value you attribute to and what cap number you attribute to every player and stick to your to the way, because a decision that looks good today could hurt you down the road. So you have to be smart and diligent in the signings you do. But of course, there's going to be excitement. Players are excited. The cap's going up. Agents, trust me, agents are excited right now. So, but you still have to be disciplined in what you do.
Stefan Rosner, Hockey News.
Just what enticed you about Rocky Thompson, and will he be running development camp for you guys?
Yeah, I'll be here at development camp. Rocky's he has various experience, right? He's won a Memorial Cup, so coaching young players. He's gone to the Calder Cup finals with Chicago. He's coaching the NHL, so he has a wide range, and he's a great communicator. When we had interviews with him, we've done Zoom, we've done on the phone, we've done Zooms. Like his communication and people skills are extremely strong, which I think is a huge asset in the NHL, because you're coaching young players, you're coaching young men that want to play in the NHL, and it's a process. Sometimes, obviously, every player that turns pro, they've been the best player in their league, and now sometimes they face adversity. You realize, whoa, the pro game's a different level. You might be a top player in junior in college. The pro game's a different, it's a different animal. So players will have adversity, and I think his communication skills is going to be a huge asset to work with those kids. And he's had success coaching younger men in the AHL and juniors. So I like that aspect of the development on the players. Listen, like I mentioned before, I want to develop in the winning environment. Does it mean winning the Calder Cup every year? No, because the reality of it, you have injuries in the AHLs. I always joke with Rocky because I always tell the AHL coaches, the AHL is probably the toughest league to coach in, because you're affected by your injury, you're affected by the parent club injuries. And, when the Islanders sneeze, well, you catch a cold too. So because usually it's your top player going up, depending on the roles. So you're affected by it. So that's why you need someone that's able to communicate and move those guys forward. But I expect us. It's not going to be about every young guy. It doesn't matter how they play. They get an opportunity to play. They're going to earn what their ice time in the minors do. That's the mindset I want the players to have. That's the culture we want to have. I don't know, you like to use the expression, you eat what you kill. So I think Rocky will do a great job for that. And right now we're working through hiring a couple assistant coaches. Hopefully in the next few days, we start the process for that also.
Last one here, Andrew Gross News Day.
Hey, Matthew, sorry. Just in your mind, do you feel like you know who the number one pick is that you want? Or like, are you in the scouts still, doing the pros and cons of, the top prospects?
Well, I can't tell you all my secrets, but no, like, listen, we have an idea at this point. I mean, we're going to keep debating it till the end, keep calling around and getting as much info. Part of the job at one point, because we all know the talent at this point, you're researching more on the character and personalities and you're just trying to get as much information. But there's a few guys we like, and do I have an idea at this point? Because it's in 4 days, probably, but we're going to keep doing our due diligence all the way through Friday.
All right.
Sorry, I couldn't give you the answer you wanted.
No, I wasn't expecting you to say, hey, we're taking this guy. I was just curious about, the process at this point, since we are 4 days out. But no, I appreciate it.
Like I mentioned earlier, whether it's a trade or a free agent signing, is to do my due diligence. So I've been on this for the last few weeks, and I charge it 3 times a day, and that's part of our job. So we have to get as much information as possible to make the proper decision in any aspect of the hockey operation. So that's what I'm doing right now.